Creations Creatives. I apologize. I thought I had put 5 o'clock, but Brenda just messaged and said, I show 4 to 6. And so I went and looked, and sure enough it says 4 to 6, so my apologies. Even though this morning when I did the post, I said it was going to be from 5 to 6 today. So I apologize. Wow, can't believe I actually did that. But thank you for calling me on it, and I was just sitting here waiting anyway. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is go over what I'm going to teach you today, what kind of materials you'll need to have handy, depending upon what style wreath, 3D, I'm going to call it the 3D pumpkin wreath because that's exactly what it is. It's not a flat static frame. It's actually way elevated. Do we even know how elevated this is?
Yeah, it's probably 6 inches.
I'm looking, hold on. I think it's like 4 or 5 inches tall. So I know you guys have had a problem locating these frames. If you message me, I have some that I'm willing to part with. The downside is based on the size of the box. It's got to go in an 18-inch box. And I think I've picked worst case scenario going from Southern California all the way to Maine. It's about $12 shipping. So if you're okay with the shipping, I have some that I can send you. So just let me know if you're interested, and I can send out some 3D pumpkin frames. It seems like most of the Dollar Trees only got one case or one box, which is just 24 frames. So that's, you know, most people are going in and probably buying all 24 because it's not a big, huge cost for them. But you'll need the 3D pumpkin frame. The materials list will follow this video today. So the frames come from Dollar Tree. This is technically what they look like. So I know I'm wearing black and it's probably not the easiest thing, but they are a 3D type of frame. So I'm going to teach you how to do the style that you see on the backboard, which was just made with the chunky yarn. And this is exactly what it is. It says chunky yarn. So it's chenille, but you guys could, as long as your yarn is thick enough, you could pick any different type of yarn texture. If you're not a fan of chenille, you can go ahead and pick out any other yarn type that you like. I get these at Walmart. They were $6.99, so basically $7, $1 for your frame, and then whatever embellishments you want to put on them. I have been using the burlap maple leaves that you can get in a pack of, I want to say 8 or 10 from Hobby Lobby. I believe they're $4.99, then you get 40% off. So you can get them in just straight burlap, or you can get them in colors, like a mixed color. So you get like burnt orange, a burgundy, a brown, and a green. I'm also going to walk you through the process of how to make the wreath on the back. So people had asked me, can you use Deco mesh? The answer is yes. And I'm going to give you my opinion of what I think of the Deco mesh wreaths and some suggestions on how to perhaps make yours look better, because I just ran through this morning with Steve to see how easy it was, how much material would you need to put something like that together. So that's what we're going to cover. And then if you want to do the pumpkin form, or I don't know if you've seen it, you can query it on Pinterest, but they have them to where they're like 3 different colors. So it might go like white, a beige, green, a sage, and then they just band all the colors all the way through. I'm going to show you how to do that if that's something that you would like to do. It takes a lot more yarn to do the banded colors than to do just the entire frame, one solid color. Right?
Yep. Okay.
So are we good sound wise?
We're good. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear everyone. The only one so far that said she hasn't got any is M. Darlene.
Oh, Darlene?
Yeah, she said she still has not found the pumpkin. So if you want to reach out to Kat, maybe you can eat a couple.
Yeah, I mean, we try to, if people have extras and they're willing to part with them, we try to get you as close to your coast, like I'm all the way Coast or Central that can ship them, your shipping costs will probably be a lot less. So it just depends. I think you should have a couple. If you're doing craft shows, I think definitely these are going to be huge because they're super easy for us as wreath makers to take and stack, because you can stack them all one on top of each other, and then all you'd have to do is just fluff the bows when you get there. Much easier to transport than anything else. And you can like lay them down on your counter. You could put them on a short little elevated wreath stand, so you can have a lot of stuff to display on your table. Okay.
So we've got Linda, Karen, Barb, Christine, Melody, Rita, Donna, Darlene, Evie, Deb, Cheryl, Faith, and Teresa.
Okay. So remember, it's our private group, so don't share the video, especially if you're new and joining us. This is your first Sunday. We just ask that you keep the video in the group, even though the share option is there. That's just a default for Facebook, so that if you're doing a regular Facebook Live, you have the opportunity, or people have the opportunity to share that video. So what else? Trying to think of anything else. Oh, private groups. So you can also ask me any questions, throw questions out there, because this is your private training. So if you have questions, please go ahead and post those. Know that it takes about 15 to 20 seconds. There's a 15 to 20 second delay before so
a couple more gals that said they haven't been able to find them. Linda Campbell said no pumpkins up there in Northern California. You really have to call around to like 10 stores in your area to see if they have them. And then who was it? Karen Bradshaw says she hasn't found it either.
Like I said, if you guys are okay with the shipping, I can ship you some wreaths. So I bought a case, or my son bought a case, and then that's how we've been able to kind of figure out how to do these. I know that there's a couple people that have posted them on YouTube or on their Wreath Makers page, but what I'm finding is the ones that do they don't have it from start to finish. They don't even have it like, how do you start or how do you finish the wreath? It's just like, here's the process of how you put it together. So there's just been some stuff that I have learned along the way that I'm going to teach you. And like I said, each one of these wreaths, to do this technique, only takes one skein of yarn, which is 31.7 yards or 8 ounces. And just because it's the chunkier yarn. And what you will end up having left over, should have grabbed the one that I had left over, is about this much. So you'll have quite a bit left over. Not enough to do anything with, but you'll have leftover yarn, so you're okay. It depends on how tight you weave your pumpkin. What?
It seems like it's just not in California, because Deb is up in Albany, New York.
Okay.
They can't find any. Donna says she's down in Tampa, can't find any.
I think it was just it's a new product, and I think Dollar Tree, when launching products, may just say, well, we're just gonna try it, and we're gonna put one case or 24 of them in every store and see how they do. You know, if you're a manufacturer and you're not sure these are gonna be a big seller or not, you don't wanna invest the money to put these in multiple, have multiple cases in the store. But I do agree that they should open it up and allow us to order them online and have them shipped to us. And that's still not available.
Yeah, Peggy, she said she's even had Alex check all the way from Atlanta to Jacksonville and nothing.
Wow, see?
So.
And then what I'm hearing is that when they do get them into their Dollar Tree, they're sold out. The minute that they hit the floor, somebody comes in, they find them, and voila, they buy them. And sadly, people are taking these and they're selling them on eBay for like $15 for one, which I think is just crazy. I've even seen them on some of the wreath de-stash sites where people are trying to get like $5 for them. So
I saw a couple on Etsy too for like $3. So that's
yeah,
not too bad.
But even still, like I said, people are trying to make money off of them, especially for people who can't get them. So let's go ahead and start. Any questions really quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Catherine said saw someone on eBay selling 3 of them for $20.
See, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's unheard of. So like I said, if you guys want them, I have some I'm okay with parting with. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your chunky yarn in your frame. Steve's gonna pan down so you can actually see what I'm doing. And I think the biggest challenge with doing this particular type of weave is how do you get this in and out of all of these frames, right? You've got to break this down somehow. And even still, I mean, I tried 3 different techniques. I even tried a new one this morning using like an old recycled toilet paper tube, thinking if I wrapped it around the toilet paper tube and folded it flat, would I be able to like collectively keep it all together? And the answer is no. So kudos for whoever will figure out a technique that allows you to contain a section of your yarn to allow you to effectively weave this in and out through the frames. That is your biggest challenge. So if you can deal with that, anybody can do it. It's not like for people who have like, you know, limited movement in their hands, they shouldn't probably do that. This is one that anybody can do. So even kids. So I'm trying to find where my yarn begins, which is always a challenge. So it usually is supposed to start somewhere in the middle. Here we go. Okay, so what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna have a starting point. So you're gonna wanna start on either the left or the right in this particular section. And I find that if you just kind of take it and kind of start it in this general area, you'll be okay. Because we're gonna start from the bottom and work our way all the way to the top. So I find that if you just kind of wrap it around your pumpkin frame, and then this was always the challenge for Steve and I, because sometimes depending upon how you do it, you can move it. But all we want to do is just secure a starting point. And as you can see, just putting that zip tie in there, by the time we actually start the weave process, you're not going to see that. So I'm starting this one in a maroon. I actually looked up pumpkin colors that come naturally, and the color pumpkins that occur naturally besides orange and white are blue, red, what did we say? Green, and gray, I think, were those ones. And it just kind of depends on the soil and how it's grown and what type of fertilizer they use. So now what you want to do is you're going to kind of portion this out into not so much thirds, but you're going to use the most of it during your initial run. You're going to probably get it to about this much with what you pull off of your skein, but obviously we cannot use the whole thing and get it to go in and out. It's just too much to try to shove and get down in there. So what I do is I pull off a pretty good portion of it, and then I cut it. So I cut it off. And then we're just gonna set that aside, and we'll use that because managing this is a lot easier than trying to manage the initial skein. So
yes, one of the gals earlier asked, can you find the yarn at Walmart?
Yes, that's where I got mine.
You have another one at Walmart, but you also got it at Michael's?
No, I got it all at Walmart.
All at Walmart? Okay. Yeah,
I went to 3 different Walmarts just to see what they had. So it's the Mainstay Chenille Chunky Yarn. So, and I'm just kind of taking this and trying to find a way to keep this from knotting, but still making it relatively easy to hand to myself as I go through the process. So when I try to keep it and thought sticking it through a plastic bag would definitely be easier. And at some point, just know that this will probably not stay like this. So what you're going to do is, we've kind of, in a sense, started our outside, but we're going to go over, and I'm going to try to pass this through. This is the one on the outside. Do not pull it super tight. What ends up happening is if you pull it super tight, it's going to pull all your yarn down on your sides. So you just kind of want to, on the outside starters, you want to have a little bit of softness. So knowing that this one went over, we are going to go under the next one. So we're going under our next frame, and we're not going to go over this one. We're actually going to secure this in by going under one more time. So it's going to kind of go under, under, over, under, under, over until you get all the way through. So this one's going to go over, and then we're just going to keep it sliding down, and we're going to go under, and we're going to go under again, and you can see how it's starting to kind of all come undone. And then we're going to go over, and we're going to try to grab this. Let's see, this might work a little bit better for you.
Hi, Gail, just joining.
Under, and then on the outside we're going to go over.
Hi, Cindy, and thank you all you gals who are reaching out to others about selling some of your 3D pumpkin frames. That's
Yes.
awesome. A couple gals today, they were able to buy a whole box of 24.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
if you can at least, share 3 or 4 of them, or 5 or 6, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're here at the end. So now when this one went under, we're actually going to go over. So each row, each rail that you go is going to be the completely opposite technique, and that will give you that woven look of in and out. So we went under this one, so we're going to go over. Eats. Was that an over? Yes. I went over this one, and I'm actually lined up for the next one, which will be an under. So we're going to pass it through again.
So you're kind of actually circling that one frame.
Yeah, every time you go under, you have to completely go in a complete circle. So it, like I said, under. So here's our one under. That gets it under it. And another under it to secure it. Just like so. And then you just keep pushing it down. You can wait until you get to the entire thing. I try, like I said, not to pull too hard. Number one, if you pull too hard, your frame will move and come together. You just want enough to cover your the frame, the wire part of the frame. So now we're going to go under. If you ever forget, you can stop and look and pull these out and go, okay, this was an over. Because I've done that a few times.
Hi, gals, joining. Faith said I think I'll use my crochet needle when I make this. It'll make it easier to thread under and over.
Oh, awesome. So this one's going to go under. So we go under again. And then here we are on the outside. We're going to go under. We got our under again. Remember, this was an under, so we're going over the next one. And then under. And then we're going to go under again. And then we're going to go over. Just like so.
Yeah, sure. The dark yarn is kind of hard to see. She's also, are we going all the way around each rail?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you're going under, like right now, I'm under the rail. And now I'm going to go over and under it again to make a loop. So what I've done is I've secured this loop. I don't know if you guys can see it. I have secured it And what I'm doing is I'm covering the back and the front. The one that goes over and around is already covering the front and the back. So when you go under, if I just went to the next one, then I'm exposing the front of my rail. So on the unders, you have to go all the way around twice. So this was an over. So see how it's covering the front and the back. And now to go under, right now it's just a single under. This would expose this wire here, so we have to cover the front by going over and under again. And then we're here on the end, so we're just going to go over just like so. And then because this one was our under, we want to make sure we go over the next one. Just like that. And then the next one's going to go under and under again, because we have to do front and back. And then see what I'm saying, how the front just goes over and comes out, and it's covering front and back.
Correct, Daisy. She said, so just basically you're making sure that the rail is covered.
Yes, exactly. But it's also a pattern, so I don't know if you guys can kind of see this. You're developing a little weave, so you can actually see it kind of going over and under. You're kind of creating almost like a basket weave on your design. I totally forgot what I was doing. Okay, so under, under, and then you're going to go over, and then we're going to go under. Trying to grab all this at once. And then we're going to go under again. And then here we're going up. There is our rail is covered. Because this was, what did I say this was? This was an under. We need to go over the next one. So over here, under. Under again, over, under, done.
I
know, right? Sometimes I just have to kind of loosen it up.
But this is a good project to sit on the couch or on the chair.
That's exactly what I did. I just pull it up, grab my wire cutters, a handful of zip ties, and my yarn, and I just sit on the couch and just kind of weave it through. So there's our under, here's our over, and then we're going to go under and under. So I'm going to try just to finish this one, and then we'll actually move on. Not finish, but just finish up the thing that I have in my hand, so I can show you, well, what do you do when you actually get to that point. So I'm just double checking, what did I do? This was the under. So I have to go over. And then under. Again. It's funny how the place where it doesn't have the most tension is where I need it to work.
Yeah, you will have to watch out because it'll start to kind of knot up on each other.
It will not. So just by us doing this, it has a tendency to want to knot. So over, under again. There we go. We're going to go over. And then also watch too, some of your frames have little edges on them. You want to make sure you're not snagging your chenille yarn on that at all. So under.
Hi Kathleen, no problem. Sandra, yeah, she said it seems it takes a while to weave it all, but very pretty method. When you sit on the couch like Kat did, she was able to do one with in about an hour, right?
No, that was the one I was just working on, because I actually cut it down into more manageable pieces. So I didn't have to stop as much and go, oh, okay, I got a knot in it. I've got to sit here and unknot my yarn again. Because like I said, if you can find a way to keep everything loose and moving, then you'll already be like one step ahead of the game. Okay, so this one went, I'm just double checking, under. So this is going over.
Marisol, so she's basically weaving it over, then under, then over, then under. But every time she's doing the under, she has to loop it over again to make sure she's covering the rail.
Yes, so look, I'm underneath. So if I just left it like this and just kept going over, under, every other one you're going to see the rail sticking through. So you have to go around it twice when you're going underneath it. So we're going around it again. And then we are going on top. So when you go on top, you're already covering the entire frame by going over the top and underneath. That's why we don't have to go through it again. But here, it's only going through once. So we've got to cover it all the way. So you go around the top again. And then, man, it's always right where I need to work and not where I don't need it to knot.
And you guys can kind of come up with your own kind of weave, but as long as you're covering the rail, that's all you got to worry about.
So here it's kind of gotten a bit twisted, and it never figures. It's never where I need it to not be twisted. I need this section of my yarn. And so it's all kind of in here. So we went over, right? Yes, that was an under. So this is on top, go underneath.
Even on the over, she's going around once.
Well, you have to go completely all the way around. So here, I'm under. I have to go back across the top to cover the rail completely. And then when you go this way, you have top and bottom being met by just going around it once. And then because we did under, here, you're going to go over the top. And that's what gives you that basket weave pattern. And then now we go under. So we have bottom, top, but we can't go anywhere from here. So we have to go back underneath it again to completely cover it. And then we can go over. The overs are easier than the unders. It's like you have to go under.
Karen, yes, it's still always under, over, under, and then when you get to the end, it's over, under, over, yeah.
You always want to make sure that on your frames in the middle, what you have, like this one is an under. You can totally tell I went underneath this frame. So I have to be making sure that the one I'm going, the next row as I bring it across has to be an over. I so much like it when I get close to the end of using up my yarn. So then it stops doing this. And if I just take a moment and untangle it, it'll go so much quicker. Because somehow it kind of got snarled in there. Somehow. Okay. Trying to find the end of my yarn. So this is why I was saying this is where it takes you the most, because it has a tendency of going over and under, and as you're grabbing it, sometimes you're grabbing the wrong end and your loops just kind of get stuck in each other. And it's not that there's a knot in here, it's just that as you have
time consuming. That's
yeah.
not too bad.
It's really not, and I think the overall quality
Yeah, Donna, she tried. She said try making a little ball.
Yeah, I tried doing that. It didn't work.
I tried
a
putting
ball.
it in a Ziploc bag.
I tried. The problem with the ball is when you start getting towards the ends here, the ball becomes too big to fit in there. And then you're like, oh, great. Now what do I do? Now I have to undo it again. So you can see that this is kind of twisted on itself and just made a big huge mess. But thankfully I'm a lot more further along than I was, so we just go under, under, over, or no, not over, under, and
once you gals start doing the first one, you'll get it. You'll understand, and then you'll know what you need to do each time you go around.
Yep. And then here we're going over. And then we're going under. Because this one, let's see, what did we do?
Linda said, I think
under.
I'll stick to the over, as I'm over wanting to do one. Yeah, you must have the patience of a saint.
It's really not that hard. So like I said, I think the biggest challenge would be to find a way to keep your yarn from snarling, and as you get closer to the top, it becomes easier because you don't have to have as much in your hand to pull through. You just have to get the meat of what you're doing. And see, I keep pulling this all the way through because it likes to just twist. So now we're going. That was under, over, under, and we're going to go under again. There we go. And over, and under, and under, and over. And because we went under on this one, we're going to go over. So your sides are just to follow the pattern, but if it's an over to the next one, it's okay, because what you're doing is you're creating the basket weave on the front of the pumpkin. Don't worry about the sides. The sides will all take care of itself. So we're back under.
Melody said that my problem is when I get to the top, the sides are loose. Just kind of keep making sure you're snugging it.
No, you don't want to make sure you're snugging it. That's the problem, is you're trying to keep too much tension on it. And I'll show you what happens with the one that I have pretty much almost done. So let me just finish. See what I'm saying? It gets easier when you start to get down to the last little piece of your yarn. So this is going to go under. Oops. And then you're just going to keep pushing your basket down.
You guys just need to think of this as like
Over.
doing a project of doing a crochet blanket.
Kind of.
I mean, it's a little time consuming, but really once you get started,
Under.
I saw her do one and start it, and she was
Under.
finished maybe in about an hour and 10 minutes.
Over. Then under. See, it starts getting easier when your yarn load is more manageable and you're not having to pull so much yarn. So under, over, and we're gonna go. See, it's starting to do that thing again. Over, under, over.
Basically, yeah, she
Under.
pulled out a long portion of her yarn, cut it, and that's what she's using to start that
Over.
portion. And then once she gets to the end, she'll just tie the next portion on
Under.
and keep going.
Under, and then you just keep moving your basket down, and see how it's creating this pattern where you see the little bubbles. That's exactly what the over, under, and going around is going to do. So let me see if I can loosen this up. So this was over, so we're going. Was it over?
Deborah said, this is too tedious for me.
Yes, it.
I
No,
would try
it's
it with burlap
not.
rather than yarn. Gotta give you credit
So
for being
over.
patient. Glad you are teaching, because I would have thrown that yarn away too much work. It's not too much
No,
work.
it's really not. So
she's even got another technique to show you gals at the end.
Under. So we're gonna go over, under. See, it's easier now because my yarn's getting much easier to pull. Under, over. And because, see how the basket on the corners is coming down and it's kind of going up? Don't pull too hard on your sides, otherwise what ends up happening is it does this to try to make up for it. So just leave it a little loose on the sides so that you're not pulling that too tight. So under, look, here's the easy one. So we're gonna go under again to cover the wire, over, because we've got front and back, under, over, under, over, and then you can push your basket down just to cover up your little, because you develop these little holes, so you can make them a little snugger. And then here we are on the side. So this one went under, so I have to go over, under. So this is showing you what it's doing. Over, under,
Shows that
over,
I finally understand what she's doing. We'll have to watch the replay to get it down.
under.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself. That's the easiest way to do it. So that I go, okay, every time I'm going under, I have to cover it one more time. And then just bring this down. And then we're gonna go under. And then we're gonna go over, under. We have to cover the top, under one more time, over. We're hitting top and bottom. And then here we go. And then we go back under. And then what I do when I'm here is, look, this is how much you're gonna get, again, depending upon how much you pull. When you get to your next section, it's actually gonna go really quick, and then you're gonna just finish off your top third. So what I actually do is I take my yarn, and I'm just gonna tie it in a square knot. And then I would just cordon off my next section, and then this is gonna be underneath anyway. So as I'm weaving, I'll just weave this into the basket. So what it ends up happening is the front looks just like the back. Look how pretty that looks. It's super soft. My cat actually, when I finished one of them, thought that this was a cool nifty cat basket and wanted to lay inside of it. And I was like, no, that's not what we're here for. So you'll keep doing that until, hold on, let me move this one over here. I just section off another section of yarn. And look, here's the blue one I started. So here's where I had knotted my yarn. This I will go ahead and take care of when we're finished, but doing the same process, you start to get up to the top. And this is where I was saying your sides want to pull. So as I'm pulling my yarn through, let me grab this. If you pull too hard on your yarn, like this one, trying to get it through its little section, it's got a very small little section right here. So let me show it to you. Okay, there we go. So let me show you. Pull this one out so you can see the little last section I was working on. And see, this is what it likes to do, is fold into these little mini slip knots. Okay, come on out. There we go. There we go. Okay, now you don't want to play nice. It's so much easier when you're down to just the last little bit of your yarn. There we go. So let me pull this out so you can see. Okay, so now here on the edge. So I've done my edge, here's my corner, right? I'm going, if I pull too hard, it's gonna pull my corner up. this is where it needs to be down here. Can they see that? If I pull on it to put tension on it, I've created a gap. So what you have to do on your ends, this is where Melody was saying she was struggling, is you kind of have to hold it and then feed your last little pieces through. So hold your end until you get to your section. So now I can go ahead and put tension on here and I can let go of this. And then I can go ahead and go back under. And then under again. Is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh. Let's go back under.
Yeah, Faith said it's much easier to see now that you're doing the blue yarn.
I'm trying to like, okay, there's that one. And now we're gonna go over. So this is, remember, it's kind of an over and under. So I'm trying to, as I'm getting to the last section, you're filling up this little gap at the top. So.
Well, that's good, Deborah. She said, Kat, I finally found the Betty Crocker scissors at Dollar Tree. And you were right, I found them in the kitchen section. I bought 2 in there, the best scissors ever.
Yes, you can actually slice your finger with them. I actually figured that out today. I was like, they cannot be that sharp. But when I was cutting ribbon, yeah, cutting through thick ribbon and had my finger in the wrong spot, and sure enough, and those are some old scissors. So I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just filling it in. So this was my under. So now I'm bringing it in to do my over. And Steve was like, you should save more. I'm like, no, really? We're gonna go through enough of the over under thing. Move that out of the way. And then we are, this was over again.
Maybe that's perfect. What you need to do is, she says she's trying to co-create but having a problem keeping up. You don't have to worry about keeping up, like I said.
No.
Once we're done, you can just go back and pause it and then go at your own pace.
Over, under. Well, you're not going to see me complete an entire one. We would just be here way too long. So I just figured, you know what, I'll show you how to start, how to get the weave process in. Let me get this in so I can pull this in, because I'm just working with a really small space, and I apologize because I keep picking it up, but it starts to feel really weird. So that was under. So I want to go over, which means I have to pull all this back through. So, and I need all this, believe it or not. People are like, why don't you just cut it off? We're almost to the end. No, you kind of need it. So, and if you find that some of your spacing is a little too soft, you can just bring it through like I am here. There we go. I'm going to hold this and bring it, pull it through, pull it, and you can tighten it up and then just lightly push it down. So you can see exactly how much space I'm working with. I'm gonna be finishing these up here really quick. So this was my over, believe it or not, right? No, that was an under. So this is an over. And we're gonna start filling in that gap. So again, you don't want to pull too hard on your sides. So there's my end. And this one went under, so I have to go over the next one. So I'm holding my corner, the end pieces. These keep falling.
Deb, no problem. Just sorry I'm late, gonna have to watch the replay to see how you got started. I was able to get 6 of the frames yesterday. She said, man, they're hard to find. Yes, they are.
They are very difficult to find. So here's my over. Babe, what's up with the burlap leaves? They're just everywhere. Move them over there. It's like everything sticks to chenille. Okay, let me find my, there's my end. So I'm over, trying to get that last section in for my over. Should tighten up right there. And then under.
No problem, Evie. She said, gonna have to get off. I'm gonna have to catch the replay. I gotta get my son ready for his first day of 2nd grade tomorrow.
Good Lord. Time flies. So this is my under. So I'm trying to keep my tension on my corner right now. And then we're going over. So I'm trying to do this pretty quick to fill this gap.
Enjoy it because the time
Everything.
flies so quick. All of a sudden,
Under.
your kids are all grown up.
Look, I am literally, leave those over there. They like, Steve keeps picking them up, and for some reason, because I throw the yarn way out that way,
Yeah.
they're picking them all back up and bringing them back over the top. So,
Oh, awesome, Tricia. She said, I was so excited. I finally found mine at Dollar Tree yesterday. They had a full case in the back.
did you buy them
So
all?
she bought the entire case. Yeah.
See? Then
Hi, Amber.
people get mad at people like us, Trisha, because they're like, wow, you didn't even save one for another person. And it's like, yeah, but I'm going to be helping other people out in our group
Yeah.
by buying them. So that's it over. Here's my unders. So I got to go under this one more
Like you said,
time.
there are none on my side of the river. How about your side of the river, Gail? Just waiting for Gail to reply. Barbara, that's interesting. Yeah, probably, but it'd be hard to try to find a way to keep it standing up. She
What,
said,
holding
could you put
this?
could you put the two together and make it kind of like a really pretty full pumpkin centerpiece?
Ooh, that would be
You
interesting.
could, but it'd be kind of difficult to see how it stands up.
It wouldn't be, because you could zip tie the frames together
Right.
once you finish them, but shipping
I think
becomes,
these are meant to keep for yourself.
yeah, if you were doing it yourself, by all means you could. Okay, seriously, we need to just finish
Gail says
this.
she hasn't been looking this weekend.
Okay.
She had Alex.
Oh,
Taekwondo
gotcha.
class,
Yes, I remember.
and they were hosting a party.
So we're going back over. That's right, you had a ton of people this week at your house. So we are going over this one. So I'm just trying to do it all in the same piece. So as you can see, we're kind of finishing this one up. So this is going to go under. The middle has an awful lot to it. So you can actually finish, you'll have a lot of extra space, so you really want to fill your middle, and you're starting to see that the ends are coming in. I'm not going to worry about it.
Hi, Christina. No problem. She said, sorry I'm late, Cole. I just fell asleep. Donna said, finding the yarn is the hard part. No, finding the frames is the hard part.
That would be true. Finding the frames is the hard part. So we're back under. And then we're going to go back under again. And I'm trying to keep them stacked accordingly so that they don't turn into a knot.
And gals, for the chunky yarn, don't forget, try to find it on Amazon. It might be on Amazon Prime, or try to.
So,
Oh, Donna said she found frames. Good job. Kathy asked, "Where's the SKU number for the frame?" You know by heart.
292907. I've been typing.
292907.
Did you just type it in there?
Yep.
Okay. Told it to you earlier. Okay, now we're going over. And now it wants to wrap around the bottom. So here's our side. We're holding our side. Wow. This just all fell on the floor.
Julie said, I saw a post that someone put two of them together. It looked really nice.
I'm sure it does. So I've got to go under one more time.
Right, if we keep cutting out, just like I said, log out and log back in.
So it's finished our corner right there. So that was...
Trisha said Dollar Tree took it completely off their website.
I think because that's it. They're not going to get any more in. So this is our over.
Heather, just try closing out and coming back on.
So now we're going under. You can see that the gap now is closing. And then we go under again. Just like so. And then we're going over. Oops. And then we're going to go under. You can push it down if you need a little bit of space. Okay, goes over the frame. Under again. Because we've got to cover both sides. And then we're going to go over this one. So I'm going to go over and then under and pull that all the way through. And this should finish this last little side piece, which it did. And then we're going to go, let's see, I have it under. I'm going to kind of go over one to the top, just right here. And then we are going, see what I'm saying? I didn't want to have this much to do. And you're like, oh, leave a little bit more. I'm like, no. Okay. There it was. Over. Under. We're trying to get to that little gap section right here in the middle, because it kind of dips down like a little well. And then over. Just like so. And then push this one down.
Brent said the loop yarn looks amazing also.
I haven't tried it with the loop one. If I'm having a problem with just regular chenille yarn, God help me trying to do it the other way. So I'm finishing up in that other section, so I'm just going to do another loop.
Yeah, Julie, we did see someone who did the burlap one. It looked really pretty. She said someone did it with fabric and burlap.
So see, we're slowly covering all of this stuff. And like I said, you just want to be really super careful to not pull it too tight. There we go. So that now we can go over. I think this is our last pass. Again, leaving it fluffy. You don't want to put too much pull on the ends. So that went, I think that was in, nope, over. Under. So twice unders. We're going to go under one more time. And then the challenge becomes, what do you want to do with your stem? It's entirely up to you. I've seen people take Deco mesh and just cover the Deco mesh right up to the top, because you're going to embellish it with your bows, your ribbons, whatever else you want. So it's entirely up to you. I just finish it off with my chenille yarn, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to push this all back, because as you start pushing your yarn, you start to develop your little gaps where you've pulled your yarn like this. Let me finish. And then now what we're going to do is I am going to basically take my yarn and go all the way around the top right here, and I'm just going to cover the top of that frame. So I'm just going to keep going around the top so I can cover up everything and keep the tension in that general direction. Because this is here, you don't really see it. I'm just so overly particular that I see it, so it bothers me. So I just completely cover it with my chenille, just by like just going up and around the frame. until it's finished. Again, it's on the top. Will anyone see it? No, but I see it. I know it's there. So, and I have plenty of it to finish. What else am I going to use the leftover chenille for?
Good job, Melody. She said, okay, I made it to the top.
Yay!
Hi, Sheila.
And I just go around.
Brenda said she saw Janice make one, orange one with loop yarn. It was beautiful.
Oh, really cool. Like I said, for me right now, I'm not that coordinated. I'm just trying to get this basic technique down before I take on something a little bit more challenging. So I'm just going all the way around the top and just filling in all that space with this yarn. As you can see, I'm just covering up the top rail just by going around and around, not pulling overly tight, because there's no point in putting a ton of tension. I just went all the way around again. Not putting too much tension so that you pull everything off that you already did.
Trisha said, yeah, it makes it look more finished.
I think so. And if customers know that you take that much time to finish the small things that most people won't notice, and I guarantee you, ladies, that when you look at other people doing these, you're going to do the same thing. You might pick it up and you're like, let's look at how finished the edges are. So I'm just going to go and finish this. Thankfully now we're at a really short little stem part. Just trying to finish. Couple more going around the top.
Just keep working at it, Melody. She said, mine looks like yours at the bottom, but towards the middle, it looks too tight. So,
towards in here is too tight?
Yeah.
I think you're fine as long as, can you see the basket weave that you've already done? Like you should be able to see an in and out pattern. If not, he may have pulled too tight. So you always want to make sure that it's tight to the point where you have some good tension, but in the middle, oops, I'm trying to get my yarn through here. There we go. So I'm just going to keep going. I think 2 more pieces and that should be fine. And then if you want, if little imperfections, like you should be able to get the rest of your wreath just to puff back up because we've been holding it on its end.
Hi, Sue. Melody said yes and no. I'm going to try to loosen it up a little bit.
Okay. So here's my last piece. So now I'm going to cut this off and grab a zip tie. Do we have another one out here?
There was one, but
I might have done the beginning and the end. There we go. So now I'm going to zip tie this in here where I finished it. And I find that by using the little 4-inch zip ties, they kind of dig into the chenille enough that you don't have to be overly, like you're not going to see it. Like you can't see the little plastic stem. So now for me, I'm going to finish my stem super simple. I'm just going to kind of try to find a space in here somewhere, right here. So I'm going to pull this in and I'll show you how to do this stem. So I'm just going to hold this here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go back and forth inside your stem. So you're going to kind of go, you're just wrapping your stem on both sides and filling the gap, just like this. Around. Through. Just trying really hard not to pull my other end through. There we go. In and around, and then in and around, and in and around. Oop. I want to kind of keep that over there. And then here, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to go round, around, and just cover the top of your stem. So you filled it. So now we're just going around the top and hiding that last of the black wire frame. I just don't like to see the frame. That's just me. And then again, when you get here, I'm gonna let go of that part. So my stem's all full. Let's see, I think I went in. So I'm gonna come back up, and then I'm gonna go in between. Here's where I'm gonna knot my yarn, right here. Just like that. And then cut it off. And then what I would do is I'd go back down here at the bottom and do the exact same thing, go all the way around just to cover that very bottom section where you start. Again, if you flip it over, you can't see it, but I know it exists. So let me...
Right, Susan, she just pretty much said yes, go back down to the bottom and just wrap it around the bottom exposed section.
Yep, that's exactly what I would do. Go back around one last time, and I'm zip tying my beginning piece, and then you can totally see where I've added to my chenille yarn, like right here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut those ends off.
And then you can kind of just tuck it in too.
Yep, you just kind of push it back in, and you'll come back through and do this. But basically, there is your chenille pumpkin, so you should kind of see the lines here from your frame, but you can also see your basket weave pattern from going in and around. Now, Steve says, you know, I'll show you a different way. Like, could you do it a different way? The answer is yes. So remember how I told you that you have people who have done these like in white, then like sage, and then brown, and then they do it again. So I think there's how many sections?
7, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they might do white, beige, green, white, beige, green, white. And then it kind of looks really cool. So you're thinking, how do they do that? Do they stop and start their yarn? It's really simple. You use more yarn doing it the next way than you would here. Look, this is exactly what I have left for my skein. This will finish the bottom for me. So I have all this left over. So I don't have to be overly generous. So we'll decorate that in a second. But let me show you this other technique. So, for those of you that want to try it a different way. So to do those bands of color, what happens if you don't go long ways, but just go sideways? Well, you can do that one. So I'll show you what you can do here. So if you wanted to do separate bands, what you're going to do is you're going to start with one color and finish an entire section. So just wrap it. Don't go in and out and around. Just go over the top, over the top, over the top until you get to the bottom. And then you're going to start with your next color. And then what you're going to do, you'll see me do this. Let me just take, I'm just going to cut this fairly small, because then I can come back and finish this. This is what I have left of a skein of yarn. So I still need to finish this. I still need to finish the third section. But if you notice, my sides are well covered, my top is well covered, and my bottom is covered. So I don't have to really go back and do much more. But you're going to need a lot more yarn.
You're probably going to need like a skein and a half, right?
A skein and a quarter maybe. So what you do if you're doing different bands of color, like maybe you want to go pumpkin and cream and brown or whatever, wrap it all the way through one section. I started in the middle first and picked my middle section color, and then what you're going to do is in between these pieces here, you're going to go in between them.
You could actually take like the blue yarn and show them.
Oh, maybe. I have just that little piece though.
Oh, yeah.
Because the other one, well, yeah, look. So what you're gonna do, we're gonna do it with the blue. So I'm gonna kind of hold this and pretend this is attached. So you're gonna go in between. So you're gonna go in between one of your sections and then wrap it to the outside. Remember, this is attached. And then you're gonna move your section aside, and then you're gonna go to the next section and go all the way around. And then next section, all the way around, next section, all the way around, and then you would just go next section all the way around, and what it does is it creates that woven pattern where you're like, how in the heck did they do that? Did they just do it like blue and then they stopped and then they did the next one? No, they just went up and down as they went around and around and around, and then you can get separate sections but you still get that woven look. And then these ones you can push pretty tight, but you would just go all the way around, go all the way down to the bottom, start your next color, and go all the way around the top till you get to the top.
Brenda said that looks easier.
It does look easier.
I like it that way.
Yeah, and this is the look you get if you wanted to go solid. So look at the two different looks.
No, they don't look the same. They're different.
No. So this is the over, under, all that stuff. And this is all the way up, all the way down, all the way back up. And these are all in between. Every other one is just doing an entire section. So you could get it this way, but you're going to get it more, it doesn't look as defined. It's hard to see the veins in the pumpkin this way. Now you can take, you know, a different color yarn, because I've seen people do that, and they make their own veins with the yarn or embroidery thread. You could do that. So it just depends on what look you're going for. This is how you can get that tricolor look. This is how you can do how we do the basket weave. So from here, what you would do is just pick out your color coordinating ribbons. So in this case, we're gonna do beige because I kind of wanted to go kind of beachy fall. So I'm going to, here's how you do your maple leaves. You would just lay these out. If you wanted, you could come back in with a darker brown, which looks really pretty with a contrast, or you could just do solid beige, but I like having a contrast of different colors. You could come in with a green or do two green and a beige. It's entirely up to you. I think I'm doing these this way is how it's going to eventually look. Or I think, did we do it? I think I had it all this way. It will end up looking like this, but you got to make the bow first. So the colors I have picked for my bow are these colors here. So we're gonna kind of go, I think I'm gonna go like this. So we're gonna kind of do, I'm gonna go like this. Yeah, because I want to kind of get this a little bit more into the bow. So you don't really have to over embellishment. You could add dried flowers, you could add the little berries. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, Heather said that she thinks the weave looks better. Diana said I like both. But Heather does said the other one is easier. But
it is easier.
Yeah.
Like I literally had that one done, I think, to get that far in like what, 35 minutes?
I think about 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, because you're just cutting the length of yarn and just going around. That's literally it. So we're gonna look and see how big you want your tails on your pumpkin. So I always go with a bigger on the bottom. So I'm gonna do 10-inch. So we'll do 10-inch tails, which means about 5-inch bows, and I'm just going to do single, what is it? Single Because that's a little big. 5.5 inch. With the painted ribbon, it's a little harder to get the pumpkins to mold correctly. So I'm trying to do it in between the pumpkins. And that one's going to be way big if I don't find a way to, there we go. And then we want, what did I say? How long of a tail? 10.
Yeah, the darker colors, you're probably not going to be able to see the band as much, like the maroon. But the weave,
you'll still see it.
Yeah, but the weave, you'll be able to see the bands more than the other.
Well, the orange you can see it really well, and the white you can kind of see it, but not.
Those are all the weave.
Right. But I'm saying lighter colors versus darker. It seems like the darker color you can kind of see it better. So we're doing that one. I think it's put away. And then you just flip those so they're out of the way. I was thinking I was going to do just like a beach one for all those people who have beach houses but still want to decorate for fall.
You said you do the loops 5.5 inches?
These ones were 5. The tail is 10.
Right.
Loops are 5.
Loops are 5.
Yep.
Tail is 10, Brenda.
Yep.
Kathy, yes, if you did the other one that has the different colors in each section, then you would see the sections more defined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see them completely stand apart from one another. So, trying to keep this one, trying to even it up. Every time I like flip it, I don't realize how wide the tails are, or loops are, sorry. So I'm trying to like judge it. So, there we go. And then we'll flip. Why does this one seem way huge? Like way huge. Yeah, it's like a 6-inch loop.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like, what is happening?
Well, so yeah, so these I think are more for indoor.
Yes.
You could spray them with Scotch Guard.
They're not going to feel as nice.
But it'd be
though.
better. Yeah, it'd be better if they were indoor.
When I have listed mine, I tell them it is an indoor wreath. If you want to put it on the outside, because you know there's going to be people who want to put it on the outside, that's fine. But keep in mind that if that gets wet, it is not going to look the same ever again. So we're just warning you. Put it under a covered patio. Remove it if the weather goes south pretty quick, or if your under covered patio happens to get wet. You're going to want to make sure you get those out of the way. I cannot get any of my stuff to match today. It's because I'm trying to match these, and it should have not been. Usually what I do is I wait and just even them up, because I'll end up probably cutting them down depending upon how they look anyway. So here's our nautical fun stuff. So the pumpkin ribbon, I bought it at Shinoda, but I know it's available on Craft Outlet. Yeah, because I can look at the SKU number and go, that's a Craft Outlet SKU number. So we're going to put this on there. So we'll have a little bit of the basket, because we did a basket weave on our pumpkin. And then we're going to go out to right about here. Because this one I can't really dovetail. But look, I made this one way big.
You cut it back again.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, I want to keep that one on the front. So, mini baby bow. So remember, dovetail, wire edges together, cut from the folded side to our point, and then you get your dovetail. And I usually just kind of gauge these where I want them to go. Obviously, I don't want my tails as long as I get, you know, as we're getting closer to the center, I want to get them smaller. So I've been bringing them in. This one is a 4-inch loop. So here we go again. Just make sure we're at 4 inches. And then I'm doing like a 6-inch tail. So there we go.
Brenda, you probably could spray it with the UV and water protection, but still, it's really, that type of yarn is not meant for outdoor. It's meant for indoors.
It really is. And
I mean, you could probably give it to somebody who has like a screened-in porch or patio.
This would you? Well, no,
It still gets
because
wet outside though,
no, storm doors won't fit. This is 5 inches tall. I tried putting this between our security gate and our front door, and I can't get my door to close. So you want to make sure you're measuring your dimensions.
Cynthia, so the very back ribbon was 5.5 inches, and then she went down to 5, and now she was at 4.5, and you're probably gonna do this one at 4.
I was already at 4 with this one.
Gotcha. So you're just gonna see it
At 4.
At 4.
Yeah, because I'm not doing double loops. So when I go to pull, my loops and tails are going to be opposite. Then I would just have like one tail on each side. So there we go. Usually what I try to do is start at 1 and then try to bring them in a 1/2 inch. It depends on how many ribbons you have. If you're doing like 6 and you start at 5, you can't keep bringing them in a 1/2 inch every time because you're going to have like a 2-inch loop at some point. So we are going to pipe cleaner. I'm going to do this in beige so it's easy to see. So I'm going to take all this. We're going to hold it just like so that we have an ability to loop them through. And we don't want to unstuck them, but you need to get a good twist on there. And then you have your choice. At this point you can fluff off the wreath or you can fluff on the wreath. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to pull these off for now because I usually glue them on afterwards. And let's see, I'm going to try to get most of the tails to go on the same side like this. And then what I do is you can either I go around the stem.
At the bottom of the stem?
Yeah, at the bottom of the stem. Just like so. And then if you want, what you can do is with your leftover pipe cleaner is you can make a little hanger so that they can hang it. And then we're just gonna pull our tails down. See, like these might be a tad too long. So let's go this way. Like I know this one is way too long. So I'm just gonna cut it in between the pumpkin. Like so. Pull our glue down. So fluffies. And out, left, out, fluff.
Marissa said, thanks for showing us something different. Cynthia said, so pretty.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out a couple different ways for you guys to make them, just depending upon the look you wanted. So now you can see, here's the thing I love about this ribbon is you can make them big fluffy bows.
And then Kathy Reenerson said, I want to say thank you for providing us with the name of the D-Stash Facebook page on Friday.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the SS Wreaths and D-Stash, right?
S&S ribbons and something collection.
Yeah.
It's weird. I had to like go find the name of their page.
Yeah, I saw you posted it. She said, I went to her site, and since I'm ribbon challenged, when it comes to wreath making, she has them in bundles with the signs.
Yep.
What a lifesaver, yep.
So just be really cautious, because when I ordered a sign from her, I ordered a big Grinch sign, and when I got the Grinch sign back, it actually had, it looked like, I don't know, like I call it inkjet marks from maybe the printer. So I can't use the larger sign that I ordered from her because it has defects in the sign. And one would think that you would kind of check that stuff before you send it out.
Did you post that in the community page?
I think I posted it on the private group page.
So Brenda, she posted on the private group page who that was. You can go there and look at.
Yes. Somebody had asked, and I posted it, and then I just did a screenshot from their Facebook page. So there is, let me take all this out so you guys can actually see the bow. There's the bow for this particular one, and then I would add the maple leaves to it just to kind of give it that fall look, like this. So I'd come in here and glue that in there, and then what I do is I bend my maple leaves so they kind of follow the curvature of your pumpkin. And then there's the other one. You can cut this one a little shorter so we can actually see. This is how I cut my finger with the Dollar Tree scissors. Just like that. We'll come in, cut this one down. There we go. And tuck that under so that we can kind of see. And if you want to fan that, you can fan that, because that ribbon fans. And then we'll tuck this one in over here. That way there's a little bit of a leaf, and if you want more leaf showing, then cut your ribbon down a bit. Want this one just a touch shorter.
Brenda, I saw that. The ribbon rack you made looked really good.
There we go.
Her husband made her a ribbon rack.
Oh, very cool.
Looks like you just kind of looked at the, the plastic one that we all used to buy. You just kind of modeled it after that and used the same pipes.
So there's my pumpkin.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's amazing.
Before I let you guys go, I'm gonna put this one on the door so you guys can see. I'll take the white one down. So can you raise it up just for a sec?
Yeah.
You're going up. Okay. But see how the darker color shows the basket weave more than the lighter color does? It just seems that the darker the colors you go, the more, like the white, it looks nice, but
you can't see it as much?
No, it has a tendency of getting dirty. Like I see this getting, it has to be inside, just because if it gets windy or dusty. So again, see how the burlap leaves will just stick to the chenille anyway. So there's that, and you can see the basket weave in here.
So you can get the Deco mesh one you made.
The Deco mesh one. So this is my Deco mesh wreath. I decided, remember we were gonna go gray and white? So this is what I did with the Deco mesh. Now, to do the Deco mesh technique, I would strongly suggest to not go two-tone, to not do bands of multicolor, but do straight color, like just gray or just burgundy or just orange or just the burlap, and then make it all natural, because it's kind of hard to see the pattern in your Deco mesh. Like this is a white, that's like a cream and gray plaid, but you don't really see it. But what you do with this one is you take the whole roll of Deco mesh, 10-inch roll of Deco mesh. This takes 2 of them to complete the entire thing. And then you just start at the bottom and put in your zip tie. So there's my zip tie right here where I started the whole process. And then you just take the entire roll, like on a roll, and go in one part of your frame, out the other, in the other, out the other, in the other. And if you look, if I pull these apart, you can see the frame as I either went under or over. And what I did is I kept smushing them down tighter and tighter as I got to the top, so that by the time you are finished, you don't really see the frames. I know they're there, but you don't really see them. So this was the gray and white one that I did with the fabric Deco mesh from, what is it, Joann's?
Right.
Joann's? Yes, Joann's. And then I just added the white with the berries, and then gray and white.
This one was very difficult as well.
It was just
trying to get the
figuring it
10-inch
out.
Deco mesh to go through the...
Yeah, when you get up to the top, you have to do the same thing. You have to pull your Deco mesh out And then you guys know with Deco mesh, it's constantly catching and fraying. So there was a ton of mess to clean up as we got closer and closer and closer to the top. And even the top it's all wrapped the same way that we did the other one. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but yep, that's how you can do it. So now you know how to do a Deco mesh, just in, out, in, out, in, out, and just push it down. And the same thing when you get to the sides, hold the sides until you get like the first two going, and then you can let go and then just feed it in and out, in and out.
Meta said I started with one Deco mesh the other night and liked the way it was looking.
Didn't like?
She liked it. Yeah.
Oh, she liked it? Yeah. Very cool. I can't wait for you guys to post your pictures. So when you're ready and you want to post them on the Kats Creations page, it's entirely up to you. You can go either or. If you're putting them on the private group page, use the hashtag, let's just go Dollar Tree Pumpkin, like DT Pumpkin. And then that way, if you're looking for the pumpkins or what somebody else has done, if you just search by the hashtag, it'll be a lot easier than trying to go through and look, where was that post? Where was that post? So I think that's it.
Brenda, yes she has. She says you've been busy all day, Kat. Yeah, she's made 3 of them already today.
We finished the blue one.
You did the
We did this one. We started the gray.
And the burgundy.
And we started the burgundy in the live. So I'll finish the burgundy, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the gray one yet. I'm going to finish it and turn it into gray.
Carol asks, it's beautiful. Has anyone done florals in this frame yet?
Florals in that frame? I don't know. There's so many different things. I've seen people send me pictures that shows them covering it all in batting and then doing the petal technique and having the petals go all the way down. I just don't know how. I'm guessing they had to do it zip tie somehow and poke it through.
Daisy asks, what does the back look like?
Just like cut.
Pretty much almost the same.
Yep. So here's my hanger, and exactly covered, you know, especially the sides, and then that's going to help protect the customer's door. The good thing about the Deco mesh, you can leave them outside. These are more weatherproof.
Yeah, Trish's a great idea. Just hashtag DT Pumpkin.
DT Pumpkin. Yeah, that's what we're going to start doing on everything. So when we want to share similar likes or searching, we're going to start incorporating a hashtag. So like when we do, I don't even know what we're doing next week. I'm hashtagging, so if you guys see it, I am including it in the Facebook post so it's easy to find. So that's it. Hope you guys found today enjoyable. Tomorrow at 5, I'm gonna try to keep them all at 5. I don't know why it went to 4. We're doing our last business class of 2019. You're still welcome to ask me any questions whatsoever about anything pertaining to the business. If you need help getting your Etsy page up, or you're struggling on getting a listing done or setting up your shipping profile, you can still ask me questions. We're just going to start using, because this is the last Monday of our slow period. Hoping, praying, right? Because next Monday is Labor Day. So that from that point on, we should start to sell. So you really want to make sure you've got your Facebook business page going, you've got your Etsy shop going, or if you're going to sell strictly off of Facebook, that you have some way of collecting payment. So what's going to end up happening in September is all the business classes on Monday are going to go to private group tutorials. So you'll have a total of 8 every month, unless a Monday falls on a holiday. So it's just to give you more stuff to make, to sell, to list, and that's pretty much about it. I'll get you, like, I don't know what we're doing Friday yet. Monday's our Q&A, so I've got enough questions and answers to cover everything. You guys have been nice enough, and I think I did hashtag Q&A, I think 2019, August 2019 or something. So if you have any additional questions, you can do that. So it's tomorrow at 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. and then we go Friday, and then our Sunday, and then Mondays will turn into tutorials. And I will try to get those listed as an event, so you can either click on, you know, even if you're not really sure, just mark yes, and then yes will automatically send you an update the day of the event, and it should say, hey, don't forget you have an event today at 5 o'clock. So you can pick and choose whether or not you can make it.
Linda asked, I don't know what you mean, she said, could you make it a basket with flowers on top? I don't know what she means by that.
Like take this and make it a basket?
Yeah.
You probably could. You just have to find a way to make a handle.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, by all means. Absolutely.
And then Daisy, I don't think she said, will you be making a regular Deco mesh ruffle ETC with this frame? Like how you do just a regular ruffle technique? I don't think so.
No.
We've seen it before and we haven't seen, they didn't look very good.
I'm not a big fan. Like I've seen some people take it and do ruffles or curls, and it turns into a giant ball, and then it's just like a big round orange ball. It could be an orange. It doesn't look like a pumpkin anymore. So I think the reason why they did this is so that you would have the veins of the pumpkin, you know, the little sections, and then just coming up with different, I'm sure people are going to come up with crazy designs for this, but there's Dollar Tree 3D pumpkins 3 different ways. So
Cynthia, if you do make a 3D Dollar Tree pumpkin wreath and you post it, all she's asking you to do is just put the hashtag on it, DT pumpkin, that's it.
Yep. And then when we go to look for them all, we just go hashtag, like you go search in the group, hashtag DT pumpkin, and then it'll list everybody's pumpkins. Or if you want to go and comment and post directly under that post where we can all like post our designs all in one, just search for it, hashtag 3D pumpkin, and then it'll pull up the post, and then you just go under comment and share your photo.
Right. That's
So,
it makes it easier for you to find related posts. Yes.
yeah.
Sharon asked, how much are you selling them for?
Okay, here's that whole thing, right? We know, it depends on what your yarn cost is. My yarn cost was $6.99. So we know the frame is $1, the yarn is $7, and then I'm just factoring in like $2 for the ribbon and the little maple leaves.
$2 or $3.
Yeah, so I was telling Steve, it's basically like a $10 material cost for the yarn ones. Obviously, if you do the one with the banded, you're going to have to go higher because you're not going to get a completed pumpkin with one skein of yarn. So you'll want to go higher on those. These I'm selling for, I think, $50 with shipping, which is still, it makes me cringe. But there's people on Etsy right now, God help me, I don't know how they're doing it. They're selling them for $30 with shipping included.
They're not making any money at all.
Even at $10, I'm like, okay, $10, and then you're selling it for, what did I say? 25?
35.
30? No, $30. 25 or $30. So it's $15 to ship from worst case scenario. I think mine is $12 maybe. It just depends. Then if you're stuck in your local states, you know, with those oversized boxes, you're going to get hit with shipping fees. So $10 in materials, $15 in shipping, you made $5 off of every yarn, every wreath you sell. Those of you that are selling them at the craft fair will do so much better because you can price these at $40 because there's no shipping included, right? Customers are just going to take it. There's no box expense that needs to go. So $40, $45, you should be able to get those at your craft fair. So again, it's another great low price point for customers to be able to have something different in their house. So any other questions you guys have? I know you're trying to keep up. Anything?
Nope.
Okay. So tomorrow, last Q&A, last business class. Like I said, it doesn't mean that the business classes all go away. They're all still in the library. You have them accessible. You can message me. You can leave me a comment. I am more than happy to help you with any business needs all the way through the rest of 2019. I just think that our focus has to be on creating, because you're going to start to see, hopefully, praying about it, you're going to start to sell. You know, it might be you sell one today and then nothing for the rest of the week, and then on Friday you sell 3. And what you're going to start to see is people are going to start to buy their Halloween and their fall. Fall definitely. Halloween will be a kind of hit and miss because moms are done. After Labor Day, all the kids should be back in school. So moms are ready to start preparing for the Thanksgiving family celebration, the Christmas family celebration kind of thing. So now they're ready to start their home decor.
Sandy, this is going to be an 18 by 18 by 6 inch box.
Yes, because we know. Do I have my thing? Where is my measurement tool? I had it in my thing. Let me look. So I'm curious to know how big those are.
Tomorrow the class is 5 p.m. Pacific time. Yep.
I'm going to have to pull out my fabric tape measure. But I would think these are, I'm like, here's this at 21.
It's gotta be 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6 inches. Like I'm thinking 5.5 because I know for a fact I can't close my screen door with my with the wreath on the front door.
The wreath dimensions are what, 17? 17 or 17 and a half?
No, it's going to be 18. It's like 17.75. So boom, look, here's 18
Yep.
right here. And then these off to the side. My thing is here. 16 inch.
Yep. So 18 by 18 would be fine.
Yes.
By 6.
By 6. 18 by 18 by 6 all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So just remember your Deco mesh, they can use outside. But those ones definitely make sure you put a disclaimer in there because you know somebody's going to put them on their front door and it's going to rain while they're at work. And then when they come back, that chenille wreath is just going to be like, the weight is going to pull all the yarn down.
Wilhelmine says my show starts September 7th. Should I start including Christmas already?
Yes, absolutely. Without a doubt. Have all kinds of varied price points. Lantern swags are great because you can put them on your table. You can do centerpieces for fall. Great ideas to go to Hobby Lobby. You know those plastic pumpkins that you can carve? They're kind of like a foamy kind of plastic. Cut the top out, fill it with gaps and cracks, and then decorate the pumpkin as a floral centerpiece and have that on your table. So lantern swags, angel tree toppers, candle holders, wide variety of different price points.
So last question. Cynthia asked, what class do you teach that goes with like charging time into your wreaths? I.e. like time and labor, stuff like
We
that.
did one on like pricing. I think there's a video in the private group. I'll look when I'm done, and if so, I'll tag Cynthia last name.
Kuna.
Okay, I will tag you in that video, and then you can watch it. It just depends on you. People ask, well, do you give them the sales price versus the regular price? Whatever I pay is whatever the customer's materials cost is. I don't try to do a whole huge markup on it because if you're relatively new in the market, you can't charge Williams-Sonoma prices. You have to be well established. You have a good clientele. You have repeat customers, and then at that point, you can slowly start to raise your prices $5 or $10. As you're getting new materials, you're coming up with new techniques. I think if we're just honest with our customers, I think God will bring all the customers to us. So as long as we just maintain our standards with what we want and dedicate our business every day to God and say, I'm going to entrust this to you. If you want to bring customers, great. If not, I have a lot of gifts for 2019. If not, but I have a feeling you guys will be pleasantly surprised after next week, Monday. So just please, please don't throw in the towel until you get to that point.
So Trisha replied to Wilhelmine too on should she do Christmas?
Uh-huh.
And Trisha was basically right on. She should do fall, Halloween, and Christmas.
Yep. And every day.
And then
Don't
Linda
forget
said
the every day.
Linda said your kitchen looks great for fall. Well, I mean, also asked, is there a video for lantern swags?
Yes, there is. But we'll also be doing a new video for that.
Yep.
So that's just going to be something. And then I don't know if you guys saw the stuff that I bought at Shinoda for the Christmas centerpieces, the sleigh, the little Christmas buckets. I think we have a fall bucket. We're going to do more centerpieces for those of you that have shows that are coming up September and October so that you can incorporate those and lantern swag stuff. So, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Well, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining me again today. And I will be praying for all of your businesses to be extraordinarily prosperous, and that God multiply your efforts tenfold so that this becomes a possibility. He shows you the possibility of what could be. Don't give up. Just have faith and hang in there. So have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.